Welcome to the Friday edition of the Believers Fellowship Daily Bible Reading. Today we are at Psalms 107, 108, and 109. Welcome to Bible Time. And I'm glad that we've made it through this week and we have this opportunity on this last day to look at these Psalms that are in front of us today. And Psalm 107 is one of my favorite Psalms. I mean, just listen to these first couple of verses. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from trouble. So say so. Say so. If you're redeemed of the Lord, say so. Say that his steadfast love endures forever. Make that a theme of your life, a theme of your words, that you're going to proclaim the steadfast love of the Lord and that it endures forever. And then this is such a great psalm. We used to read this frequently. We've read it frequently during Thanksgiving season at the church. And as he talks about God's steadfast love, he then gives four examples, different examples. No matter what the situation is, God can rescue, whether it's famine, whether it's prison, whether it's a near-death experience, whether it's a rough time on the sea. God can deliver. And what the people should do who have experienced that deliverance. Each time it says, let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of men. So it's all about the steadfast love of the Lord. And you know, the Lord is not impeded by any ways in accomplishing his purposes. In verses 33 through 38, it talks about how he can bring people into a desert land and they can multiply greatly and their livestock not diminish, because God is at work with them and God can provide for them. He's not impeded by physical limitations, and he's not impeded either by political limitations. Verse 39, when they are diminished and brought low through oppression, evil, and sorrow, he pours contempt on princes and makes them wander in trackless wastes. But he raises up the needy out of the affliction and makes their families like flocks. The upright see it and are glad, and all the wickedness shuts its mouth. So it's a great declaration of God's steadfast love that we should be saying about, talking about, and that we should be giving him thanks for. And that's how it ends. Verse 43, whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. Let them consider the steadfast love of the Lord. You know, that's just something we've been seeing over and over and over again in these Psalms. And it would be good for us to stop and consider and to think about the steadfast love of the Lord. Make that your consideration. Meditate today on the steadfast love of the Lord, how he is trustworthy. Those who call out to him will not be disappointed. Well, then Psalm 108 says that we're going to give thanks to the Lord no matter what. And you can tell it's kind of they're in a difficult situation as this psalm's being written. But we're going to give thanks to the Lord no matter what. My heart's going to be steadfast no matter what, because, verse 4, your steadfast love is great above the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. You may have sung those words in church if you've been around for any length of time. The steadfast love of the Lord is great above the heavens. They're just continually praising God for his steadfast love. And it's a psalm asking for deliverance. And the question is kind of is who will deliver? God, who's going to deliver us? It's a rhetorical question because we know the Lord is going to deliver. God's promises will be kept. And ultimately, this is looking forward to the time when Christ comes and rules in Israel and defeats all of his enemies. We know that that's going to happen. God's steadfast love is above the heavens. And then Psalm 109. Boy, here's a helpful, practical psalm. It's praying for justice against false accusations. You ever had false accusations brought against you? People saying unkind, untrue things about you? I'm sure we've all experienced that. I know I've experienced that. But as we see from this psalm, a psalm of David, this is an opportunity to turn a hard situation into worship. Turn it into worship. How do we turn it into worship? Well, we turn it into worship by going to the Lord in prayer. That's what he does in verse 4. He says, I will give myself to prayer. He's going to go to the Lord with all of this. He's not going to complain to everybody else. He's going to go to the Lord. He's going to worship the Lord. Prayer is an act of worship. He's going to go to the Lord and petition the Lord and ask the Lord to manifest his judgment. Now, this is an interesting psalm because if you read what he says about what he wants God to do to his enemies, it doesn't sound very good, does it? It's what we call an imprecatory psalm. But there's some things to take note of about this, which make it probably pretty distinctive from what we typically do in these kind of situations. He's appealing to God. He's not expressing his intention to take vengeance. David's not saying anything he's going to do to those who are bringing the accusations against him. He's bringing this matter to God. He's appealing to God to take action in this case. Notice too, he doesn't set any timetable on God for when he wants God to do this. He leaves the how and the then up to God as to how God's going to deal with this situation, these people who are bringing the accusations. And he's not asking for a different standard to be imposed on those accusers as is imposed on him. And so he's looking to God. He's asking God to act. He's asking God to uphold justice. But he's not asking for any favors. And he's not telling God when and how to do this. And so that's something important to remember. But the point is, he's looking to God to take care of this. And you might have noticed, too, verse 8 may sound familiar. That's a verse that was taken and applied by the apostles to find a replacement for Judas. That's just one little footnote there that you might want to take note of. And then also we see the continuing worship here. This situation becomes an opportunity to worship. Because in verse 21 he says, "But you, O Lord my God, deal on my behalf for your name's sake, because," here we go, "your steadfast love is good. Deliver me." He's appealing to God to deliver him from the situation, and he's basing that request on the steadfast love of the Lord. And so that gives some great confidence when he goes to the Lord in prayer, by that means. And he ends by praising the Lord. See, all of this, he's getting accusation. I mean, I don't know what you do when you're facing those kind of situations, when people are being unkind towards you. He's turning to God in prayer. He's turning to God to make an appeal, and he's turning to God and praising him. Verse 3, "With my mouth I will give great thanks to the Lord. I will praise him in the midst of the throng. For he stands at the right hand of the needy one to save him from those who condemn his soul to death." What a great psalm of worship. And it was brought about by false accusations that were brought against David. What a great example that is for you. Certainly a lot for us to consider today and to spend our time this weekend considering the steadfast love of the Lord.